SCP-1350, Object Class Keter. SCP-1350 is a floating, mobile point of light of unknown origins. The light emanating from it is not reflected by any known material, but can be perceived by biological organisms or mechanical photosensitive equipment. SCP-1350 and its light pass uninhibited through all known materials, regardless of consistency or opacity. SCP-1350 will target and slowly accelerate toward any living creature massing more than 2,488 grams. Target acquisition is determined primarily by maintenance of direct observation of the object by a living organism, secondly by proximity of the target, and thirdly by the target's mass. It will cease movement and instantly change targets should the situation change, and make another target more favorable according to the criteria. Upon reaching a target, the object moves into the target's brain. Life signs of the target immediately cease. Regardless of the mass of the target affected, the object immediately increases in volume, base speed, and apparent luminescence by exactly 22.7%, classified as a delta event. This becomes an exponential progression as additional delta events occur. These attributes decrease linearly at a rate of approximately 1.14% per day until the object reaches a maximum apparent diameter of 0.5 centimeters, minimum base speed of 4 kilometers per hour, and a minimum apparent luminescence of approximately 25,000 CD. If it remains in this state for more than 24.2 days, it will cease to be influenced by the direct observation criteria until a minimum of 3 delta events have occurred. This is classified as a kappa event. Through current containment procedures, the object is maintained at a diameter of 0.5 centimeters to 1 centimeter, an apparent luminosity of approximately 25,000 CD to approximately 200,000 CD. No upper limits to size, speed, or luminosity have yet been observed. Highest observed 2 centimeters diameter, 327 kilometers per hour, and approximately 1,650,000 CD occurred during Event 1350-27 in 1957. Recovery Log SCP-1350. SCP-1350 was discovered on June 2, 1952 by Foundation Research Team -58 en route to study SCP. The object was first observed at 9:42 p.m., described in audio logs as a kind of star moving toward us. The team consisted of 8 members, 6 of whom encountered Delta events within the first 5 minutes of contact. Agent and Dr. who had been setting up a communication beacon, observed this encounter from a significant distance away and retreated immediately to call for backup. They maintained evasion for 15 hours before being overtaken, providing most of the initial intelligence about the object. Mobile Task Force Alpha 8 Icebreakers was dispatched to determine the nature of the object and to establish preliminary containment procedures. Contact with the object was established June 4, 1952, resulting in the immediate loss of 2 task force members and the progressive loss of another 10 members over the course of the following 2 months. Further properties of the object were determined during this time, after which plans began to be drawn up for Containment Area 52. Object delivered with no further casualties to the containment area on September 29, 1952. No connection has been established between SCP-1350 and SCP, and the object's original proximity to SCP has been judged to be coincidental. Event Log 1350-27. Initial containment procedures consisted of the primary dome and 2 additional buildings, with D-Class being instructed to face the object and turn away in alternating intervals. Construction of 4 D-Class domes and Containment Track Alpha took place during this time. This was originally deemed to be sufficient for containment, given a proper supply of D-Class. On May 9, 1953, this construction was completed and official containment procedures began. On February 16, 1959, a D-Class unexpectedly died of a heart attack during containment procedures, resulting in a Delta event. Maintenance prevented the timely movement of remaining D-Class to Containment Track Alpha, resulting in the loss of all D-Class in the containment area. SCP-1350 then approached the primary dome, resulting in a Delta outbreak event and the loss of 14 additional personnel and D-Class. Secondary dome personnel took over and led the object on a circular route for a period of 22 days, with the loss of 4 additional personnel. Emergency personnel arrived to repair the primary site and revise containment procedures. Immediately, construction began on the secondary ring of domes, and containment was transferred to them on a temporary basis. Containment Track Alpha was prepared, and the object was transferred there on June 29, 1959. 8 additional domes and tracks were added to the primary ring, completed February 11, 1962, after which current containment procedures were initiated. Addendum 1350-01. The object's origins are unknown, but it is highly probable that Team -58 was the first group of living creatures it had encountered since its appearance. At this velocity, containment would be impossible. Subsequent contact with all life exceeding 2,488 grams is currently estimated. O5 clearance only. See document 1350-K. Investigation into the object's possible original path to the location of its discovery has thus far been fruitless. However, observatories are to be directed not to observe this phenomena. Events 1350-14 and 1350-79 have proven the dangers of attempting to test the object's parameters. Further experimentation on SCP-1350 is forbidden. SCP-1350 must be prevented from coming within 200 kilometers of the ocean at all costs. Footnotes 1. A combination stimulant, thought suppressant, and intention enhancer designed to ensure the Class D currently targeted will immediately focus upon SCP-1350. 2. Defined as a 30-meter radius around the currently targeted D-Class dome. 3. The object has variable acceleration, but has not been observed to accelerate faster than 0.05 meters per second squared. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1350 is contained at Containment Area 52, -80, -100. Any unauthorized individuals approaching within 50 kilometers of the containment area are to be terminated on site to prevent potential Delta events. Colonies of Sphenoskidae and other creatures are to be monitored and guided to prevent them approaching the containment zone. Maintenance inspections of containment tracks Alpha and Beta and individual rotating platforms are to be conducted twice daily. Personnel on site not involved directly in maintenance operations are to remain inside the primary dome at all times. Observation of SCP-1350 is restricted to cameras and motion sensors. At no time are personnel to directly observe SCP-1350, except in the case of a Delta outbreak event for the purposes of prolonging containment. Number of personnel in the primary dome should be limited to 5 researchers and 2 D-Class at a time, if possible. 12 geodesic domes are positioned in a circle with a diameter of 300 meters, each dome connected by a dual underground track to the primary dome. Each dome is to contain 1 D-Class treated with compound iota and strapped to a rotating platform designed to prevent movement of the head more than 10 degrees in any direction. The interior of each dome is to be completely darkened when in use. All D-Class must be kept turned 180 degrees from the current position of SCP-1350, except for the 3 D-Class determined to be farthest away from it when it crosses the current threshold C. The object's current target must be identified and kept focused on the object until it crosses their threshold C. Light and motion sensors are to determine the position of SCP-1350 at any given moment and adjust the orientations of D-Class subjects accordingly. In rotation, 1 D-Class is to be changed out each hour, examined for continued suitability for containment, and replaced as needed. If an unscheduled Delta event occurs, the 2 nearest D-Class are to be focused on this object, immediately lowered from their domes onto the containment track Beta, and moved to containment track Alpha. They are to continue moving their alternating speed as needed to remain a constant distance away from SCP-1350 until it has returned to its original luminescence. Once per month, a Delta event is to be permitted in order to prevent a Kappa event. If the object breaches the primary dome, all current occupants are to be terminated via fast-acting neurotoxin to limit potential Delta events. Recontainment will be handled by the secondary dome located 20 kilometers to the north. Resupply of D-Class to primary containment site and recontainment on containment track Alpha must be achieved as rapidly as possible. A secondary set of domes spaced in a 12-kilometer diameter circle is to be put into use should more than 10 Delta events take place within a 15-day time period. Should the secondary dome be compromised, the object must be led via containment track Gamma to launch Site 52A, and procedure Gamma 12 implemented to give time to re-establish containment facilities. Path of the object through the solar system must be monitored to identify the object's future point of re-entry.